First and foremost, I should tell you that I have a major scoop regarding Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, their newest legal plan.
You're not kidding when you say this is getting messier. The author of that book deleting her Instagram account, another who plays Baldoni's sister in the film, being harassed on.
Hollywood is in absolute chaos, and the internet is obsessed. Picture this. Blake Lively, one of the most talked about stars of her generation, files a complaint that sends shockwaves through the entire entertainment industry. And just like that, Liz Plank, outspoken advocate for women's rights and co-host of a major platform, suddenly quits her position in what looks like a loud, public show of solidarity with Blake. But wait, was Liz truly standing up for a friend? Or was she pulled into a storm of manipulation, carefully engineered by a power couple hell-bent on controlling the narrative? Because as this story unravels, Blake's once pristine image is shattering before our eyes. People are finally connecting the dots, and what they're uncovering? Not a good look. From her cold, distant attitude during press junkets to old allegations of her being a nightmare to work with, Blake's America's sweetheart reputation is slipping fast. And the real bombshell? A leaked recording where she openly admits to using manipulation tactics to gain creative control over projects. Let that sink in. This isn't some wild tabloid rumor. This is Blake herself, in her own words, exposing the very behavior that's now the centerpiece of her brutal legal battle with Justin Baldoni. Talk about career suicide. Just when you thought this Hollywood scandal couldn't get any wilder, Candace Owens enters the ring with bombshell revelations that flip the entire saga upside down. Known for her no-nonsense attitude, Owens does not hold back. She drops a treasure trove of evidence that suggests Ryan Reynolds, Blake's husband, and one half of Hollywood's golden couple might be pulling way more strings behind the scenes than anyone ever imagined. According to Owens, Ryan's controlling grip on Blake has been a long-standing issue behind closed doors, and it could explain a lot of her erratic and questionable moves throughout this entire legal disaster. Bold claim? Definitely. But Owens insists she's got the receipts, messages, videos, insider testimony, the whole package. And now, Blake and Ryan's legal team is in full-blown damage control mode. They're not just fighting one battle, they're fighting on every front. On one hand, they're scrambling to enforce a gag order to stop Justin Baldoni from releasing text messages and other damning evidence that could put Blake in an even worse position. On the other, they're reportedly going after anyone who dares to speak out against them. It's a scorched earth strategy. But here's the real question. If Blake and Ryan have nothing to hide, why are they going to such extreme lengths to silence people? What exactly are they so afraid of? The public isn't buying it. And honestly, neither are some insiders. Take Liz Plank's sudden departure. At first, it looked like a bold act of loyalty to Blake. But now, as more details surface, people are seriously questioning her motives. And here's where things get real messy. Some online sleuths believe Ryan Reynolds himself might have orchestrated her exit. According to the internet's most dedicated detectives, Ryan has a pattern, allegedly love-bombing people, drowning them in attention, praise, and career opportunities until they're firmly in his camp. But here's the kicker. This isn't just about collecting allies. Some believe this is part of a much bigger plan, one designed to isolate the real target, Justin Baldoni. By positioning Liz as a devoted loyalist, Ryan and Blake may have been trying to create an echo chamber of support, making it nearly impossible for Baldoni to defend himself. And Liz, whether she realized it or not, she walked right into their trap. Sounds far-fetched? Not to everyone. A TikToker named Steph with the deets broke down the timeline, and let's just say there are some serious inconsistencies. Suspicious? Absolutely. But the plot thickens. Enter Ari Emanuel, one of the most powerful figures in Hollywood, who publicly backs Blake and Ryan. On the surface, this seems like a huge win for the couple. After all, when you've got billionaires and media moguls in your corner, who cares what the public thinks, right? But people aren't fooled. Social media is flooded with comments questioning if Blake and Ryan's entire image is built on playing nice with the right people, just enough to dodge accountability. Of course they're friends with Ari Emanuel, one commenter wrote. They're probably besties with Oprah and Mark Zuckerberg too. And speaking of those left in the dust, let's talk about the insiders who have finally come forward with their experiences working with Blake. These aren't just random gossip seekers chasing clout. We're talking former colleagues, crew members, and even co-stars. People who've seen her true colors firsthand. The stories? Brutal. Allegedly calling herself untouchable, making career-threatening remarks, and treating people like they're disposable. It all paints a very different picture from the bubbly, relatable persona she's carefully crafted for the media. One resurfaced clip from a press junket is particularly damning. It shows Blake and actress Parker Posey laughing dismissively at a journalist's question. The moment was so uncomfortable that the journalist later admitted it made her want to quit the industry altogether. Yikes! And the bombshells keep coming. Blake's behavior during the It Ends With Us press tour is another disaster. Critics slammed her for shamelessly promoting her lifestyle brand at a premiere for a film dealing with serious social issues. But the moment that really set people off? She named a cocktail after a controversial character in the movie, something many saw as shockingly tone-deaf, if not downright offensive. And yet, her team isn't focused on accountability. Instead, insiders say they're in full-blown damage control mode. Their legal strategy? Less about proving innocence, more about shutting people up. But here's the thing. The harder they push, the more questions people are asking. Now, even Blake's closest friends are getting dragged into the chaos. Her sisterhood of the Traveling Pants co-stars, America Ferrera, Amber Tamblyn, and Alexis Bledel, penned a deeply emotional letter of support, calling Blake a courageous leader who fought for a safe workplace. Heartwarming? Maybe, but not everyone's buying it. Critics are calling the letter pure PR spin, pointing out the suspicious timing. Because let's be real, public support from friends doesn't magically erase the mountain of evidence stacking up against her. And then there's the mysterious website, Takedown. Reports claim that Blake and Ryan's team went all out trying to shut down a site that was gearing up to release incriminating texts and videos. But here's the real question. If the content was fake, why not just debunk it? Why go to extreme lengths to erase it from existence? This move alone has sent speculation into overdrive. And now, with every attempt to suppress information, the public is growing more suspicious. If these alleged texts and videos are as bad as insiders claim, they could completely flip the script on this entire scandal. So what is Blake so afraid of? As the narrative slips further and further out of their control, Blake and Ryan are finding themselves in dangerous territory. The cracks in their empire? Growing by the second. Blake and Ryan's desperate attempts to play the victims of a smear campaign? Completely falling apart. And their aggressive tactics? Backfiring spectacularly. The more they try to silence Baldoni and shut down the voices speaking out, the more they look like they have something major to hide. It's a classic case of the Streisand effect. The harder they try to bury this scandal, the bigger it explodes. And yet, despite the chaos, Blake and Ryan are doubling down. Their legal team isn't just targeting Baldoni anymore. They're reportedly going after anyone who dares to question their version of events. Bold move? Definitely. But also a dangerous one. Because in the court of public opinion, actions always speak louder than words. And right now, their actions are screaming guilt. The stage is set for an explosive showdown, and Hollywood's most controversial power couple is right in the middle of it. But as each new revelation surfaces, one thing is becoming painfully obvious. The truth is not staying buried for long. So what's next for Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds? Will they somehow claw their way out of this PR disaster? Or are they heading straight for career-ending fallout? Buckle up, because this saga is far from over. Just when you think it can't get messier, boom, another twist. Blake and Ryan are in full-blown damage control mode, desperately trying to keep a grip on the narrative. But here's the kicker. Every move they make, it's blowing up in their faces. So what's really going on behind the scenes? Candace Owens isn't just throwing out wild accusations, she's dropping what she claims are explosive receipts. And her target? None other than Ryan Reynolds. Owens is pointing the finger directly at him, accusing him of being the puppet master behind Blake's legal moves, allegedly controlling every aspect of their strategy with an iron grip. This isn't just damage control. This is a full-blown power play. According to Owens, Ryan is so determined to shield himself and Blake from the fallout that he's willing to do whatever it takes, even if it means taking on an entire industry and crushing anyone who stands in their way. And here's the real kicker. Owens hints that Ryan's obsessive need to control this crisis has been a long-standing issue in their marriage. She claims this is the reason Blake has made so many questionable decisions throughout this entire disaster. But now, the big question looms. Is Ryan truly protecting his wife? Or is he just trying to save himself? Either way, Owens' bombshells are fueling an already raging inferno, making people seriously question the couple's true motives. Meanwhile, Blake's inner circle is scrambling to rally around her, or at least they're trying to. Her longtime friends and Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants co-stars, America Ferrera, Amber Tamblyn, and Alexis Bledel, penned an emotional letter defending her. They describe Blake as a loyal friend and a fearless advocate for workplace safety, citing her efforts to create a respectful environment during the filming of It Ends With Us. But here's where things get messy. The public isn't convinced. A huge chunk of the internet is calling this letter a strategic PR move, rather than a genuine show of support. So is this true loyalty, or just another carefully planned Hollywood cover-up? Timing is everything, and Blake's Sisterhood co-stars just happened to drop that glowing letter right when her reputation was dangling on the edge of collapse? Suspicious? You bet! And let's not forget the mysterious website takedown. Reports claim Blake and Ryan's team went into full attack mode to shut down a site that was allegedly preparing to drop explosive evidence against them. We're talking text messages, video clips, and insider accounts. The kind of receipts that could completely expose what's really been happening behind the scenes. Now here's the million-dollar question. If the content was fake, why not just debunk it publicly? Why go all out to have it scrubbed from existence? This only adds fuel to the fire that the couple has something major to hide. Something so damaging, it could shatter their carefully curated image. And speaking of image, let's talk about Blake's latest PR disaster. Remember her big moment at the Forbes Women's Summit? She gave this powerful speech about authorship and agency, framing herself as a woman taking control of her career. At the time, inspirational. But now, people are watching it through a very different lens. Critics are zeroing in on her own words, and they don't look good. In one segment, Blake flat out admitted to presenting herself as just an actress when joining a project, only to later assert her control once she was already on board. "I guess I'm just like a Trojan horse," she said with a laugh. Let that sink in. What was once seen as an empowering moment is now being dissected as proof of calculated manipulation. Was Blake really fighting for creative control, or was she playing the long game all along? Yikes. That comment did not age well, especially now that Justin Baldoni's legal team is using it to argue that Blake actively tried to take over the creative direction of It Ends With Us. But wait, it gets worse! Baldoni's side just dropped video footage from the set, claiming it completely disproves Blake's allegations of inappropriate behavior. The raw footage? A slow dance rehearsal, intended to be romantic and intimate. But according to Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, the video clearly shows mutual respect and strict professionalism between the co-stars. Blake's team, however, is not backing down. Instead, they're saying the footage actually supports her claims. Their argument? Baldoni's unscripted actions, touching Blake's face and making comments about her appearance, were out of line and crossed professional boundaries. It's the ultimate he said, she said, but with video evidence that's completely up for interpretation. And let's be real. In today's hyper-polarized world, both sides are using it as a weapon to sway public opinion. And speaking of public opinion, the drama isn't stopping with Blake and Justin. Because now, Ryan Reynolds is in the hot seat. He's facing backlash for allegedly mocking Baldoni in his upcoming film, Deadpool and Wolverine. The character Nice Pool, who just happens to have a man bun and a habit of making passive-aggressive remarks, is widely believed to be a not-so-subtle jab at Baldoni. If true, that's a bold and wildly risky move. Critics are calling it out, saying that using a major film franchise as a petty platform for personal feuds isn't just unprofessional, it's downright childish. So now the question is, was this a deliberate attack or just a very unfortunate coincidence? Ryan's legal team is staying tight-lipped about these accusations, but the internet? Oh, they're not letting this go. Fans and critics alike are scrutinizing every frame of Deadpool and Wolverine, hunting for hidden jabs and not-so-subtle Easter eggs aimed at Baldoni. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni isn't just sitting back and letting this unfold. He's firing back in a major way. He's officially filed a massive lawsuit against Blake, Ryan, and their publicist, accusing them of launching a deliberate smear campaign to destroy his career. The lawsuit claims that Blake's allegations weren't just random. They were part of a carefully calculated effort to distract from her own controversies and shift the focus onto Baldoni instead. And Baldoni's legal team? They're going all in. They've even subpoenaed phone and internet records from major telecommunications companies like AT&T and Verizon. Why? Because they believe these records will blow the lid off the entire scheme, revealing exactly who was involved and how this alleged takedown was orchestrated. And if they're right, this could change everything. But here's the real question at the center of it all. Who's actually telling the truth? Both sides have put forward compelling arguments, backed by their own evidence. But the deeper you dig, the messier this saga becomes. Case in point, Blake's lawsuit accuses Baldoni of fat-shaming her on set. But Baldoni's team is hitting back, arguing that he only inquired about her weight because of a back injury that required careful lifting. So was this body shaming, or just a misinterpreted concern for safety? One thing's for sure, this Hollywood war is far from over. Blake claims she endured inappropriate comments and behavior, while Baldoni insists these interactions were twisted and blown out of proportion. It's a tangled web of accusations, and untangling it? That's going to take years of legal battles and millions in legal fees. But let's talk about the real fallout, because the ripple effects of this scandal are already sending shockwaves through Hollywood. Industry insiders are whispering that Justin Baldoni's career may never fully recover, regardless of how this plays out. Reputation experts are sounding the alarm, saying that entertainment companies won't take a gamble on someone tangled in a high-profile controversy like this. But it's not just Baldoni who's feeling the heat. Blake and Ryan's golden Hollywood image is cracking. Sure, their legal team is fighting tooth and nail in court, but out here, their once untouchable brand is taking a major hit. Can they ever rebuild the trust they've lost with fans and industry insiders? That's the million-dollar question. So, where does this leave us? One thing is crystal clear. This story is far from over. As more evidence surfaces and both sides dig their heels in, the stakes are sky high. Will Blake and Ryan succeed in controlling the narrative? Or will Baldoni's legal team expose the cracks in their carefully crafted facade? And most importantly, how will this scandal reshape the way Hollywood handles misconduct allegations and career-destroying retaliation? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you love deep dives into celebrity scandals, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. See you in the next one!